Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Krafty Kristina podcast. I'm Kristina. I am crafty. I am your host. And this is a channel where I share all about my knitting and crafting adventures. You guys, I am back. I'm back on the internet. Today is Friday, November 17th. It's 3:15 p.m. It is a very gray, kind of cold, rainy day in Western Pennsylvania where I live. I have a half day of my non-knitting job today, and I just got home from the office, and I was feeling pretty motivated and excited and very chatty, so I just decided I have the time. I'm feeling talkative. I have a pile of like a bazillion whips over here and new cast-ons and yarn acquisitions and so many things. So I have no plan for this. I mean, I've got like a bunch of stuff. I have so many things to share, but I'm here. I'm back. We have so much to catch up on. So grab your knitting, grab your crochet, your crafts, your drinks, your snacks, whatever you want, your pets, your family, your friends, snuggle up with whoever, whatever you want, you got. Let's catch up and let's get to knitting. You guys, I don't know the last time I recorded a podcast. Expect this to be a very chatty episode. I have no idea how long it's going to be. I'm feeling like very like word vomity. I just want to like talk and catch up. This is honestly the best I have felt in quite some time. So I wanted to take advantage of that today. I know I've been gone for a bit. You're like, girl, what's been happening? So many things. I don't really know where to begin. Honestly, I had a very busy, like, fun summer. I was outside a lot. I was gardening. We were visiting family. We were visiting friends. Like, it was a very involved summer. And it was great and it was amazing. And then in the middle of the summer, I started not feeling very well. And I was having a lot of like pain and I wasn't really sleeping a lot. And then I started having like some mental health issues. And then my summer hours were over at my job and all of the things just started like coming to a head. And so I really needed to take some time for myself to just like take a minute, reassess, come back. When I was ready, I wasn't doing a lot of knitting, you guys. Everything is a-okay. I actually have some like happy news to share. If you don't follow me over on Instagram, I've shared this kind of sporadically, kind of sorta. I'm a married woman now. Oh my gosh, and also my nails look horrendous, so please just ignore those. I'm coming as I am today. I got a cute new haircut. And it's curly and it's like frizzy and it's a little like crazy town USA because of the weather, but just excuse that. I don't even know where to begin. Lots of things have happened is where I'm going. Had some mental health stuff, started seeing a new therapist, just really needed to like work through some things because with a lot of the different things and like the big changes that were happening, I really was just like not in a good like mental health space. And I felt like having a third party, I've talked about going to therapy on here before, and honestly, I think it's the best thing I've ever chosen to do. So I started seeing a therapist, and that has kind of helped. So still working through like some other stuff and like stress management and, a lot of different things. And that happened. I got married. We decided to elope in August, and that was something that I had a deep secret with, and it was just the two of us, and it was so special. We've been together a long time, and we've talked about getting married, but I really wanted an engagement, and, you know, if you've been watching me for a while, you'll know that when I started my podcast, we had just moved across the country. And a big part of the reason we wanted to move across the country is because we knew that there were so many things we wanted to do back in the area where we were born and raised. We couldn't do them in Las Vegas where we were, as much as we love it and we miss it so much, and we miss our friends and like our friend family out there. it was a beautiful chapter in our life, but we came back here because we wanted to buy a house. We wanted to have like a little homestead situation, and we wanted to get married. We want to have kids. Like, we're really just in that next chapter of our life. And we just felt like the best place for us to do that at the time was here. So I just went on a tangent about that, and I don't know what the heck I was talking about. Oh, we got married. Yeah, so we wanted to get married, but we would rather buy a house. So we've been saving to buy a house for a very long time. Another thing I've been talking about. You'll see I'm still in my current house. We'll talk about that in a minute. And, you know, we didn't want to have a big wedding. We didn't want our families to, like, have to deal with a lot of that. We also just, like, didn't want all of that. And, like, the expenses. Like, it's so much money. We just didn't want like that type of hoopla, and we always have wanted our marriage ceremony to be between the two of us. And so we made the choice to elope without witnesses, and pretty much nobody knew. Our employers were onto us. We were like talking about it in passing, and then I took some time off, and it was a time I wasn't planning to take off. And anyway, so very slowly we started to share with our friends and family that like we did the deed. And so we're in the process of planning a very like casual backyard barbecue, like farmyard wedding type of situation. I don't really know how to describe it. It's not a wedding. It's not a wedding. It's not a wedding. It's a party. Okay. We're just having the party. We're going to have barbecue food. We're going to have Mexican food. We don't have like, we're probably not going to have cake. Okay. We're not cake people. If you're from like the Pittsburgh area, you know, like the wedding cookie table. I want the biggest cookie table you've ever seen in my life. We love cookies. We like pie. We like ice cream. Like that's the vibe. Okay. We just want everybody to come together and have like a good old time, like celebrating our life. And so that is on the horizon. So we got engaged in June. Very quickly decided that we were ready to just do it. And so we did it. And it was so perfect, and it was so special, and it was just the two of us. We had a lovely weekend away together. And married life is just exactly the same as before, but also somehow so much better. And I'm just like dying to introduce myself so I can like share my new last name. And so I'm like dying to meet new people so I can be like, oh, this is my husband. I don't know. It's just been so fun, and I'm like so grateful, and it's just a really like fun, special time. So that was happening. But along with getting married and like then having a couple of like personal things come up, nothing major, just like a couple things that, you know, I needed to deal with like mentally, and things came up. Started seeing a therapist, but then also in June, I started having like insomnia and like some severe like pain and like my upper right abdomen area. And I thought it was chiropractic because I'm out like digging in the dirt, digging holes, pruning, you know, my garden. And I see a chiropractor every like 4 to 6 weeks just for like general maintenance and tune up and make sure like my overall health is all good and good in the hood and everything. And I brought it up to him, and he was like, that's really strange. Has this happened before? And I was like, no. And he's like, okay, next time, like if this happens again, I want you to write down everything you did and consumed the day before. And I was like, okay. And like, I would wake up in the middle of the night, like excruciating pain, like couldn't breathe, like sent me into like panic attack, like very traumatizing type pain things. And I was like, didn't know if I needed to go to the emergency room. And then it would like I'd be in so much pain I wouldn't sleep overnight. It was just like kind of a reoccurring thing, and I didn't know, like I thought it was muscular. Well, come to find out, I was having issues with my gallbladder. And I don't know anything about the gallbladder. Now I'm a gallbladder expert, and we could talk about this, but I have basically needed to change my diet, complete dietary overhaul of everything that I eat, everything that I drink. Meal prepping is like a theme of my life right now in a way that I have never had to meal prep before. I love planning. I love cooking. You know this. You've seen this. The amount of like meal prepping and like grocery shopping and like time I have to spend on things that I'm consuming is just like terrible. It is so time consuming, a little stressful. I'm here to tell you, I think I'm okay. I have now seen several doctors. I found one this past week that I really trust. And I have found that there were several things that were the root cause of my gallbladder issues. So while my gallbladder problems and my most boring, bland, can't eat anything fun diet is driving me nuts, and like it's like the biggest thing that is causing me like a lot of like emotional and physical like grief, if you will. It's the least of my worries, says the doctor. So I have some follow-up appointments planned, and I'm in the process of healing myself naturally, in an attempt to avoid having a major surgery. So just a few things. And then also my job is back to regular hours, and, you know, it's a lot of event planning and like weird hours. And so just the combination of all of those things was just enough to kind of put everything I wanted to do for fun on like a screeching halt. So I have been finally starting to feel a little better. I've got a lot of my diet under wraps, got a new doctor that I trust. Like I'm feeling in a better headspace, and I've actually started knitting again. So I wanted to come back on here while I had some time. December is approaching. I've done vlogmas the last 2 years. And so I guess if I'm going to do vlogmas, like I should probably come back and say, hey, I hear how you doing. I'm still here. No, I'm just, I don't know. I'm excited. I want to be back. I want to be doing this for fun. It's so much fun for me. I like it. It's creative. It's kind of like a hobby. I'm here for it. Like I want to keep doing it. So I'm drinking water, nothing exciting. Actually, currently I have to write down in between my next appointment with my doctor. I have to write down everything I eat and drink in a day. Every single thing. And all of like my bodily functions and how I sleep and like all of that type of stuff, like very nutrition focused. So I'm just drinking water right now from my Q cup. Anyway, I don't know. I'm like ready to get back into it. The holidays are coming. I'm ready to be like holly jolly, crafty Kristina. Like your girl's ready. So I'm here. I'm back. My gallbladder attacks are triggered by stress. So here I am again. I was trying to do videos every 2 weeks because it was like, I was really loving that. It was a lot of fun. I was doing a bunch of knitting. I'm going to be back to like no schedule. I don't think I might be here a lot. I might like, usually I find like when I get back into this, I like post a bunch. I just don't know. Here I am. I'm here. I'm going to be here when I can be here. I hope you'll join me when I am here. I don't know. Again, you guys, I had no plan. I'm really just rambling, but I'm just here being honest. So if you've been following me all year, you knew I had 2023 knitting goals. I'm here to tell you, you're not about to see anything on those plans. I said I was going to be flexible with myself. I said that these were like goals that I had, but if I changed my mind and wanted to do something different, that is what I was going to do. And I've done exactly that. So I had a plan for things that I wanted to accomplish. I did a 6-month update. I don't know if I'm going to do an end of the year update. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to let my creativity and like my heart and my soul and my feelings drive me. I don't know. But I have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Wait until you see this box of all the shit that I bought online. I probably shouldn't swear. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not being sorry. I'm just being myself. I bought a lot of yarn. I have used a bunch of my stash. I have not kept up with my stash tracker. Let's just get into some projects, you guys. I have pulled a bunch of things over here to the side, and like every bucket of knitting I could find, I pulled it out. And we might look at it. I might be digging through it. I don't know. Let's just start. I'm going to show you my newest cast on, actually, because you're going to be like, what on earth? You're not. I cast on, I think this pattern is called the In a Wink blanket. It's a free pattern. I think it's Yarn Inspirations. I have no finished objects, so don't be looking for that. We're just going right into whips. Okay, so this is the In a Wink baby blanket pattern. My brother and sister-in-law are having a baby, and in a few weeks we are going to go down. They live out of state, so we're going to go visit them for their baby shower. And I wanted to have a little baby blanket for them, for the baby. And so I'm just knitting this. I knit this pattern once before and really liked it. It's super quick knit. I love the yarn it calls for. I knit this for one of my friends in Vegas when they had a baby, and they love the pattern. Their child now loves the pattern. And so I just think it's a really quick knit. It's a great gift knit, and you can be really creative with it. So I'm using the Bernat blanket yarn. I don't know the colors of these. These have been like in my acrylic stash for a while. It's probably like a cream and maybe like a baby blue. And then I also wanted to, oh, here it is. I also wanted to add like a little gray in as an added stripe. So I'm just striping with my heart as it is, but you just change the colors, and I've been weaving my ends in as I go. I'm knitting it on I think it's a US size 11 Chowgu needle, and this is it. This is my blankie for my niece. I thought about, I really love Bernat blanket yarn because it's very, like, I knit a blanket for my husband when we first started dating, like many years ago. It's actually on the couch next to me, but there's a bunch of stuff on it, so I'm not going to show it to you. Although that would be a really nice thing to show, huh? Anyway, I'm not. There's too much stuff on it. I'm not going to pull it up. But where's it going with this? It's really durable. We machine wash it. It's really snuggly. Like, it holds up well. And they have a million colors. So I was trying to figure out, I don't know what colors I wanted to knit this. I did have these in my stash, so that was like a good drive. But then they decided to do her nursery in like cool tones and like very neutral, because my sister-in-law just really wanted it to be a space that would be like very calming for them when they're in there with the baby. And as she grows, that it's a very just like relaxing, like chill vibe for a nursery. So they just put a wallpaper up in there, and they were sending me a picture of it, and a lot of these colors were in this like cool tone neutral room. So I thought this would fit like really well with the nursery. So this project I've been working on, I actually just started it, like, I don't even know. What day of the week is it? It's Friday. I don't know. I started this maybe Sunday. I started it this week. I don't remember what day, but I don't know. I mean, you can get a couple stripes done in like half hour, an hour, so at least I can, but I'm a slow knitter. Anyway, there's that. Gosh, I don't even know what to show. Wait a minute. Where is this project? I'm missing a project. And I don't know where in the world. Is it underneath the coffee table? It is. It's all the way over here. The next project that I wanted to show you that I have cast on is that I actually impulse cast on the West Knits Mystery Knit Along. I don't even remember what this is called. The Geo Gradient. I love a good gradient. I had these colors, most of them in my stash, I really wanted to use, particularly in a shawl. And then when I saw the first clue come out, I actually really loved it. I loved the way the colors played together. I loved that it was garter stitch. Like, I don't know, everything about it was really pretty. And I was like, you know what? I'm like, maybe, and at that point, like, I really hadn't been knitting pretty much anything. So I was like, this is really fun for me. I have these colors. I love a gradient. It sounds like it might be like modular. I'm like, I'm just gonna like wait till I see other people's projects and I'm gonna start it. And so I did. I started knitting it, and I did I think it might be Very Pink Knits center modification. And then I'm still, like, obviously I haven't touched this in a while, but I am still on clue 2, but I'm probably going to finish it. I just really loved the finished project, and I know that this is something that I would wear a lot. I know that these colors will be wearable in my wardrobe. And I just really was enjoying it. Everything about it was so fun. So I don't know when I'll finish it, but I started doing that. So I'm trying to find like an easier way. So this was like my center, and I'll show you, obviously you can see the yarns knit up here, but then this is the little eyelet section, and I'm just loving it. I don't even know, like, I'm going to show you my yarns, but now I'm thinking, I don't even know if I have tags or colors for you. This is a blue color. This is like my darkest color. This, I don't know the colorway name, but I got it from Sin City Knit Shop when I lived in Las Vegas. Been dying to use this. This is some kind of like icy blue. This I bought in a kit a couple of years ago after I did the first, what was my first West Knits mystery knit along? It was Slipstravaganza. So I bought this kit to do the hybrid knit along, but then I ended up not knitting the shawl, but this was one of the colors that was in it. And I thought this is a little bit more accurate. It's blowing out. It's so dark outside. I'm sorry if the lighting's a little wish-washy, but I thought these colors would be really nice together. This is the colorway I don't know the name of, but it's Blush Yarns. I got this a couple years ago. And then this, again, I don't know what this is either, but I talked about it actually a couple months ago on, might have been my last podcast episode actually, because my initial intention was to knit a baby knit for my future niece or nephew, before we knew if it was a niece or nephew. And my friend Anne actually sent me this neutral skein. It is super cute. I ended up never casting on the project that I had picked out for her being my niece to be. But basically I have a lot of yarn that I wanted to use if it was a girl, and I had a lot of yarn I wanted to use if it was a boy. And I wasn't quite sure what my brother and sister-in-law's like style or like taste or preference was going to be. So I wanted this neutral skein. Now that I know what their preference is, I have a different skein in mind. So I will probably be knitting a little baby knit for my niece with that. But anyway, I wanted to put this to use. Thank you, Anne, for sending this to me. And that's it. Those are my colors. It's just been a really enjoyable knit for me. It's a lot of fun. I was very monogamous with it for quite some time. I actually was right on track before, well, I finished the first clue, I think, in time. I finished the second clue. I didn't finish the second clue. It's still in here. And then this is in a bag I got in my Blush Yarns advent calendar a couple of years ago. And this is a bag that came with it. It's from Mountain State Stitches. I use a lot of these bags, as you all know, but it's a little Christmas bag. So that is that project. What else? Let's see. I brought this bag, but I don't know what's in it. Okay. I know now what's in it. I'm going to show you this. I haven't really touched this too much since you saw it last, but I did think I'd show it because I think I have done some extra colors. And this is my, Desperate Housewife cardigan by Melanie Berg. By the way, I have project pages for all of these projects on my Ravelry page, so go ahead and follow me there, or click on the link. I'll have it linked in the description so you can see it there. Any details, I've been working really hard that if I do have a project there, I'm very detailed. So if you need help, or if anybody else in the world needs help with the project or wants, I don't know, my notes, I found other Ravelry notes really helpful recently. So I've started adding a bunch of notes into my project. So that's that. What else was I going to say? I also started a Ravelry kraftykristina like chatter thread. And there's a couple of things in there. It's been going, but I haven't really been like that active in it because I just haven't been active anywhere. But there's a general chatter thread if you want to go over there and join it and chit chat with everybody else. There's one thread that actually I think there's 2 threads I was planning to use for some like future episodes, and there are quite a few things in one of them. I've got stash knitting projects. So if you're working on anything specifically from your stash, I know it's something we're all trending to do right now, whether it's single skeins or double skein projects, or just like what have you put together from your stash this year. I recommend you go put some over there because we're all looking for inspiration. There have already been some really great ideas over there that I'm like, oh my gosh, I never would have thought of that. Great new patterns I've never heard of. And as things get posted in there, I'm like, eventually I'm going to put like future videos together using things that you share to give everybody like new ideas. So follow us over there. Check it out. Let's chit chat. Just thought it'd be fun to have like some added community. Anyway. Coming full circle, my Desperate Housewife cardigan. I had a goal in August that I was going to knit this until I could split for the sleeves, and then I was going to do like 30 minutes a day, and then I never did anything. It's not that I never did anything. I just think maybe I was on maybe this color last time you saw it, and so this is the neck line up here. I'm starting with like the neck. So this is going to be like, I don't even know how to describe this. I haven't even looked at the pattern since then, but I did want to pull this out and show it to you because I had done some more. So I'm really loving these colors. I mean, come on. These are my favorite colors. So, I mean, that's really where I am with it. Again, something I've been wanting to knit for quite some time, basically since the pattern came out. It's on my needles now. Maybe I'll pick it up and knit some more. Maybe I won't. But I was really enjoying it. I just think at this point, like I really wanted to get to the split for the sleeves because then that would make knitting the body and like the sleeves a lot easier. And then I feel like I was like, it'd be a little bit more mindless at that point because I think I'm doing some increases still, or at least I was. Again, the yarns with this, probably on my project page. This is a Sin City Knit Shop yarn. Same base as that shawl I showed you. This is just her gray. This is my main color. So this is going to be my collar here, and then the little stripes in between the skinny stripes and the skinny stripes in between the big thick colored stripes, and then it's also going to be like the ribbing and the button band and the cuffs for like the sleeves. And then I have this is Leap of Faith yarns. I think this was a colorway for Crazy Sock Lady Summer Sock Camp last year I bought. I think it's like toasted marshmallow. My memory is serving me well right now, you guys. Maybe I should do like unplanned podcasts all the time. Sin City yarn again. Same base. Don't know the color, but it's like a very cute minty like blue-green situation, which I love. This green is Trilogy Yarns. I think this was her Crayola collection. Forest green, I think. And then this, what I think Blush Yarns, unknown colorway. And this I have no idea what on earth it is. I don't know where it came from. I don't know the yarn dyer. This is like, I went on a knitting weekend a couple years ago, and one of my friends, I think, brought this. They like didn't want the colorway or something, so I took it, and I really like it. It's like this nice moody green with like, you can see like the pop of blue in there. Please excuse my undone nails. They're really atrocious. I need to go get them redone. I've had added medical expenses, and so, oops, wait a minute. Well, now that I've found the bag that my project was in, I suppose I could put this back in it because it was just hanging out in my office on the floor before. Okay. there's that project. I have my, I'm not going to show you this. I haven't worked on this at all, I don't think. This is my Scattering Petals cowl. I really like it. Haven't touched it. I still have my Habitation throw in here. Love it. Haven't touched it. This is my Jigsaw puzzle blanket. Scrappy blanket from my Broadway sock scrap leftovers. Love it. Haven't touched it. Also haven't knit any more socks. I've been feeling a little more sock knitty recently though. Actually, I'm thinking I'm going to cast on some Christmas socks. Okay, this bucket's done. I don't even know what else I have to share. Oh, my final whip. Final whip is probably my biggest whip, and it's also in a bag that I have a lot to talk about. The love letter of my life right now when it comes to knitting is the Laura Penrose Knits released on my birthday a pattern. Exactly what my soul needed and exactly what my heart was looking for. And that was the Sweet Shop blanket. I had been itching and had this idea. Well, first of all, I'd been itching to knit a temperature blanket. I've seen a lot of people doing temperature blankets this year using like indie dyed yarn, and that is something I haven't really seen done a lot before. And I was like, that would be a really, really, really fun thing to do. And I've been wanting to do it, and then I knew I was getting married, and I was like, gosh, wouldn't it be beautiful if I knit myself a temperature myself? If I what am I doing? If I knit us a temperature blanket with the weather where we live for the first year of our marriage. And so I really wanted to capture that year as best as I could. And I really wanted to do something different than I'd done before. And so I wanted to do a temperature blanket that showed the daily highs and lows, but I really wanted it to be like a mitered square type of situation where it'd be like, you know, if you knit like a square dishcloth, one half would be like a triangle situation. So I was thinking in my brain, I'm like, God, like I was searching. I searched and searched and searched and searched. Hours and hours and hours and hours of my free time I spent. I'm really not kidding you. I had a friend looking for me. Been talking about it. I was like logistically thinking in my head, I'm like, maybe this is a pattern I'm just gonna have to write for myself. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing, like what the first thing is when it comes to that. Like, and then lo and behold, Penrose Knits saved my life. And she created the Sweet Shop blanket, and it was everything I needed. And so I cast on a Sweet Shop blanket, but I made a temperature version. So I think the initial pattern is knit for DK weight yarn, and it's intended for one side of the square to be bare yarn and the other end of the square to be with a contrast color. I've decided to do this. I'm very far behind. However, I went through my stash. There's like 23 to 25 skeins of yarn that I have set aside for this blanket. This is the day that I got married. And I'm doing the daily high on the bottom of the triangle and the daily low on the bottom of the triangle, or the top of the triangle, I mean. And so the pattern is written with the construction really well. And I don't want to give away too much about the pattern. But I have decided you can really like pick up the stitches and like knit your triangles as you go. And so I did the math to figure out how to make it a perfect square. I'm using fingering weight, so I did modify the pattern just a smidge. I think the details are over on my Ravelry page, excuse me, for you to see. But I modified it down a little bit, and I decided I was going to knit it corner to corner. So as you may know, 365 squares does not make a perfect square. And this year is going to be a leap year. And so my first year of marriage is going to be a leap year, which means I would have 366 squares to make. And that also does not make a perfect square. So what I've decided to do is the next round number that would make a perfect square blanket was 380. So I have decided that I'm going to knit 14 additional squares to get to 380. And how I'm going to do that is that I'm going to knit 2 squares on the first day of every month. And then I'm also going to knit 2 squares on our birthdays. So for example, we got married in August. So my September 1st, where is it here? I think this was my September 1st. September 1st because it was the day. September 1st because it was the first of the month. And then September 1st again because it was my birthday. And so, actually, I don't think that's right. I think this was the first September 1st. Anyway, either way, I'm knitting it corner to corner because I feel like it will blend a little more cohesively in the grand scheme of things. And it's going to be 19 squares by 19 squares. So I'm going to hold this up a little more so you can see the colors a little bit better. I've been trying to weave in the ends as I go, but it's also proven a little tricky, and I just, I'm doing some as I go, and then it's been a couple rows since I've weaved them in. But this is what I'm working on. It's my most loved project right now. It's all garter, some short rows, but they're easy peasy lemon squeezy, so if you're like stressed out about short rows or like not really a fan, it's delightful, okay? It's everything the world needs. So if you're thinking about like advent projects, 10 out of 10 recommend this. You're going to be able to use up like every bit and morsel of your yarn, and you're just going to have something really beautiful at the end. The pattern is so well written. It also has, I think that also this is the first of her patterns I've ever done, so I can't compare it to anything else but this blanket. Beautifully written, easy to follow, lots of inspiration. It's customizable, by the way, so if you're into that or like you want something a little more specific, it's easy to be customizable. She also has different recommendations for sizes and how to construct to get it to be the size that you want. I am doing a very specific modification here, so obviously that is something I figured out, but I can't recommend it enough. Buy the pattern, soothe your soul with perfect, cute, cozy, beautiful, like get your creative juices flowing with the Sweet Shop blanket. 10 out of 10, can't recommend it enough. Love it, love it, love it. So, it's my love letter to my Sweet Shop blanket. I am not, my friends, I am not going to pull out all the colors that I have wound up in this ginormous bag I'm about to show you and rave about. But if you want to look at the colors, I have a big photo of all the colors in the exact order I'm using them in on my Ravelry page. And if you'd be interested to see like my temperature chart, I'd be happy to type that up or like share a photo or something so you can see kind of how I'm doing things. It took a long time for me to figure out how much yarn that I needed for the project. But basically what I did was I made an Excel sheet where I had pulled in the previous year's weather for the zip code that I live in, and I did some like formulas to calculate how many days were within a certain temperature range. And from there, I learned how many colors basically I needed to add in a certain temperature range, if that makes sense. So there's like one temperature range. Let me see in here. There's one temperature range in particular that I think I have like way more, and it's because, where's it at? Am I wrong? Yeah. So most temperatures I have like 3. Here's my chart. Most temperatures I have assigned to a color. It's 3 temperatures. Does that make sense? What on earth am I saying? How am I describing this? So like for example, let me see in here. Like this color I have assigned to 61 degrees, 62 degrees, and 63 degrees. But most of my ranges I had only needed 3 degrees. But then I have like one that's assigned to like 6 degrees. So 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. I'm sorry, 7 degrees. Because by my temperature chart, I knew that the most days within a certain range, like it had the most days in like the 27 to 33 range for my climate. Does that make sense? So that's how I did it. So I did a bunch of math, and then I laid out as much yarn as I could humanly possible that I thought would work well together, or like have a really nice rainbow fade. And then from there, I just wrote out my chart to make sure that I would have enough yarn. And so I still might not have enough yarn, but time will tell. But I have this whole project. I won an Instagram giveaway. And I really am like, this is like a tree trunk bag. I do not have enough good things to say about this bag that I won on Instagram. This bag is by Stitched Below. And I have been following her on Instagram for probably as long as I've had an Instagram. She makes bags. And they are so cute. And I have always wanted to buy one to try it out. But I don't know like what it is that was stopping me. I just never bought one. And I had added one to my cart a couple times, and I'm like, no, I'm impulse buying, like have to be smart. And you know, as you know, I've been trying to save money because we're trying to buy a house. And I, you know, basically I commented and entered her giveaway, and I won. And this is the bag that I won. And I am obsessed with this bag. There are 25 skeins of yarn in this bag, okay? Here it is. It's got a zipper on the front, big pouch, okay? Lots of room for notions and activity. It is filled to the brim. It's like a cinch bucket, okay? Cinches at the top. It's got 2 pockets, I think, on the inside. I think there might be more than 2 pockets. I can't remember because I got so much yarn in here. I haven't seen that down deep, but there's lots of pockets in there. The depth, incredible. First of all, the pattern, so cute. It is so durable. It is incredibly well made. And then it's got this handle. So you can cinch it up. You can carry it around with you wherever you go. And she makes all different sizes. Small, medium, large, this humongous type bag. I mean, I've really been needing a big bag for big projects for a long time. I love blanket knitting, and I haven't been doing a bunch of it. And this year I started a ton of blankets, and this is like a great place to store a blanket. So Stitched Below, highly recommend. Please check her out. Last year, I think she actually did like a new Christmas pattern bag every day in December or something crazy like that. They were so cute. I don't know if she's doing something like that this year. I can't shout her from the rooftops enough. I am in love with this bag. So check her out. Go get one for yourself. Support the small businesses. I just freaking love this bag. I love this bag. Anyway, okay. That's my biggest rave of the day. All right, let's see. I think that's about it for my whips. I have some yarn acquisitions to talk about. I really want to do Vlogmas this year. I have an advent calendar. It came in the mail this week. I'm not quite sure that I have a project for it, but I actually have some projects in mind from last year's advent calendar that I had, Shirley Bryan Yarns. So if you followed along for Vlogmas last year, you saw that incredibly beautiful fade. I've been oohing and ahhing over it all year long. I thought I wanted to do, what was that new blanket pattern that came out? The Anthology Throw. I thought I wanted to knit that, and then as the year went on, I'm like, I just don't really know. I like it, hear a lot of great things from it, but I just didn't know if I wanted to knit it anymore. And then I decided that I wanted to have an easy, mindless, like super cozy, fun project throughout Advent that I could show on my Vlogmas. And I wanted to have something really like mindless and easy and fun, and a pattern I've been wanting to knit for a while that I think I would really like is the Cozy Comfort Throw. I think it's by Molly of a Homespun House. I bought it. I've had it printed out. It's been upstairs. So okay, now we can get into the yarn. So I made an impulse yarn purchase. And it wasn't that impulse, but it was kind of impulse. Knit Picks just had their like big annual sale or whatever. Oh man, wait a minute. My address on here. Okay. Knit Picks just had their really big sale. I'm about to just dox myself. For all like 6 people to come find me. I got some Dishy. So I had an order come in. I ordered some Dishy. It was called like Holly Jolly Christmas or some, I don't know. It was like a pastel Christmas dishcloth set. And I was just feeling like I needed some retail therapy and like I wanted to do some Christmas knits. So I got this kit. So I don't know why I'm like trying to hold these all up at the same time like a goofy goober. Okay. So I got this Dishy. It's just Knit Picks like worsted weight cotton yarn. I got this. Where are the colors? This is linen. This is more of an accurate color back here than it is up there. It's like the light's really blowing it out. I'm sorry. It's like pitch. If I didn't have this light on, I'd be like in the dark right now because it's so dark outside. This is mint. And I also got, what on earth is this? Verdigris. It's kind of an interesting name. It's more of like a green, like a true green maybe, a little bit of blue, a little bluer forward. This is called Silver. And then I've got Dream House Multi. And the final is Dewdrop. And that's like this really like cute powder blue. So that's supposed to be like a Christmas yarn type dishcloth set. I don't know. I thought it was cute. Am I gonna knit the dishcloths this year? I don't know. But I got it and I feel good about it and I really like the colors. So, and I've been wanting to try Dishy. The other thing that I bought is that I am gonna knit the Cozy Comfort Throw during Advent this year. And so I bought some bear yarn to go with it. So this is the Felici fingering weight bear yarn from Knit Picks. I've talked about this before. I've used it for a couple of other projects and I got 6 skeins of it to just be on the safe side. And so when I went to order that during the sale, I was like, I want to buy something else. I was like, I don't know what else I want to knit. And I don't know about sweater quantities of yarn or what kind it is or whatever. And so I bought some Dishy instead. So I did that. The other yarn acquisitions that I have, so that's 12 skeins of yarn. The other yarn acquisitions that I have, I've like barely really looked at. And I'm pretty sure that these are all new since the last time you've seen me because I haven't taken them out of their bags. And normally I do that when I'm in the podcast. So these are my monthly Broadway yarns. I don't even know which months they are. But they're cute. They're really cute. I've been wanting to really knit my husband some socks. I want to knit my husband some socks. I don't know if I'm going to do that out of a Broadway yarn or not, but I just think he really needs to experience the luxury of like socks. Knit socks. This is Monty Python's Spam-A-Lot. This really does not do like the colorway justice. I think it's like so hard to tell. I feel. I guess this looks pretty accurate. I'll hold it up closer, but it's like gonna blow it out. This is again my Trilogy yarn monthly Broadway club. I get the plush sock base, which is MCN 4-ply fingering. It's 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. So that's this one. This one is Once on This Island. I have to tell you, I'm a hater of Once on This Island. I saw it and I did not like it. It was really, I don't know. I saw the Broadway cast tour though. It was not it. But then look how fun. Look how fun next to the playbill. This is the color, same base. Super cute. Super fun. So there is that. I have two more to share. This one I really like. I'm like so curious to see how it's gonna knit up. And I'm gonna be honest, I feel like these might be good socks for my husband. And it's kind of funny because it's based off of Tina Turner. So this colorway is like Tina. How good is this? Like the gold, the green, like, ooh. I don't know. I feel like these are kind of manly colors. I don't know. I just really like it. Like, so fun. So fun. And then the final one is the one I just got in the mail. Also, really cute. I have no idea what the heck this musical is, though. Gutenberg, the musical. And it's got Josh Gad, and I recognize this guy, but I can't remember who he is. But this is the yarn. It's like very orange and bright. Just like this playbill. So here's the... Again, oh gosh, I feel like this lighting is like so not good. But I think you get the point. Anyway, very fun like October colorway, I feel. So I guess my November one should probably... Oh, I wonder if it's in the mail today. I didn't see that it's coming. Normally it comes around the middle of November, so it's not here now. It'll probably be here soon. Anyway, those are my yarn acquisitions. I'm trying to think what else. Like, what else do I have to share? I don't really know what's new, what's been going on. My diet's been boring 101, so I could share with you my favorite supplements that I'm taking, but I'm not going to do that. I don't know. That's just like kind of all that I've been up to, is really just trying to take care of like my physical health, my mental health, and really like laser focus on what it is that I need. And I don't know, been doing that, but married life has been exciting. Been knitting all types of random things now that I'm getting back into it. The change of season and weather has also been oh so helpful for that, because I'm like cozy and I don't really have as many places to go right now. Oh, Vlogmas. I am like 80% sure I'm going to be doing Vlogmas. If you don't know what Vlogmas is something a lot of YouTubers do, where they upload quite literally a vlog every day in December leading up to Christmas. This will be my third year doing it. And I am actually going to be out of town during the beginning of Vlogmas. I don't think I just don't really know. I'm going to probably do Vlogmas. I guess where I'm going with this is I haven't really decided, and I'm also not so sure if it's actually going to start on December. I think last year I started it December 2nd because I vlog in real time. So I don't vlog. It's like I vlog December 1st on December 1st, and then I upload it on December 2nd, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be out of town for a little bit of time. Excuse me, my eye scratch. And I don't actually know if I am going to A, vlog all that much while I'm gone, and B, if I do, be in a place where I can edit it and upload it while I'm out of town. So that being said, I'm curious to know like what it is that you might want to see. Would you rather me just start Vlogmas when I get back on like December 5th? Do you want me to, I don't know, talk about my Advent plans and like maybe sprinkle some stuff in? I do have an Advent calendar. I don't know if I'm going to be bringing those days with me when I go. I just like really haven't decided. So I don't know. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about me doing that. If you have any ideas about it, I definitely want to do Vlogmas when I'm back in like my house and like back to my schedule, but I just quite haven't decided what I'm going to do about those first couple of days. So technically, I'm just trying to think, like I might record stuff and like I could probably put together like the first 5 days of Vlogmas in one video, potentially. I just don't know. I just don't know what I'm doing. I haven't decided. I just don't know. Let me know your thoughts. What do you want to see? You want to, if I do record, you want to see some of that? I don't really know. I guess it's up to me really, huh? I don't know. I might be able to do, I was thinking though, it might be fun to just do like a little, like I think a lot of people did what they called Vlogmas Day 0 type of situation last year, where they sat down, they talked about their holiday plans, what they could expect with Vlogmas, what advent calendars they had, and what projects they were going to work on. So that's something I definitely could do at the beginning and like pre-record to upload at the beginning of Vlogmas. And then there might be like a couple days of like maybe nothing in between. I'm really not going to be gone that long. I would miss December 1st, which would be uploaded on December 2nd. December 2nd, which would be uploaded on December 3rd. And December 3rd, which would be uploaded on December 4th. And potentially December 4th, which would be uploaded on December 5th. I don't quite know. Anyway, that's where I'm at. So I'm thinking if my first Vlogmas video started, whether or not I vlogged during those days, I don't think I'm going to be able to upload anything on those days. If that makes sense. So if I can't do that, we do this thing at my job where like I'm thinking out loud. This is me thinking out loud. Sorry if it's boring. I don't know. So I guess if I did that, my first video would probably go up either December 5th or December 6th. So you might get like a first week of Vlogmas recap. I don't really know. Let me know what you think. What would you like to watch? You're just like, Kristina, go on vacation and come back and be happy and then let us know. I don't know. But that's all I've got, my friends. I think I've kind of covered it all. I'm here. I'm still alive and well. I just really needed to take care of myself for a little while, and I wasn't knitting and I didn't have anything to share, even if I was feeling well enough to podcast. But things are looking up, you guys, and I have so much I'm excited for. I have so much to be grateful for. There are so many exciting things on the horizon of my life. We're actually really super duper seriously looking into like home buying now. And that's something I am so thrilled about and also kind of like nervous about. So we're like looking at houses on the market all the time, and we are finally like getting in with a realtor, and this is our first time buying a house, first time home buyer, so we like don't really know what we don't know. But we're very excited about it, and I am just beside myself with excitement for this next chapter of my life, and for our life. And I am just so, I don't know, we just keep joking that like we know that we're married, but every now and then, like, we look at each other and we're like, oh my God, we're married. It's like the biggest difference and also like no different at all. We've been living together. I don't know. It's just been so much fun, and I don't know. Somehow it just keeps getting better, and I am so grateful for that. And I'm so glad I get to be married to my best friend, and I could talk about him forever, but I'm not going to do that. I don't know. I think that's all I've got for now, you guys. So thanks so much for watching, and I don't know. Let me know what you've been working on. Can't wait to hear from you in the comments. Join me Ravelry. Follow me on Instagram. Blah, blah. Do all the things. I'm just happy to be back, and I'm happy to be sharing. And so, happy November to you. Hope you're preparing for the holiday season. I hope you're happy. I hope you're well. I hope you're knitting. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.